The first real snow did not arrive with a storm. It came quietly, like someone laying a fresh sheet over a sleeping town. By late afternoon, the rooftops were softened, parked cars turned into small white hills, and in the courtyard behind the old house, the bare branches wore thin lines of snow like careful handwriting. Sounds were softer too, as if every noise had to take off its shoes before entering. Mila pressed her nose to the cold window. "All white," she whispered. "Finally." Her grandmother laughed from the kitchen. "If you want a snowman, little owl, now is the time, before the street turns it into soup." Mila was already pulling on her coat. The courtyard was small, but it had everything it needed. One crooked lamppost, a narrow path, a row of tired bushes, and in the corner, a single young pine trying its best to look like a real tree. Fresh snow waited everywhere. With Grandma's help, Mila rolled 3 balls: heavy base, round middle, smaller head that wobbled and settled with a soft thump. He should sit, Grandma decided, smoothing the snow so the snowman looked as if he had chosen to rest there, plump and calm. They gave him short, sturdy feet, a round belly, and a neck that clearly wanted a scarf. For a hat, Grandma brought an old metal pot, dark outside and faintly shining within. "It has done enough cooking," she said. "Now it can think lofty thoughts." The pot became a slightly crooked hat. 2 dark beads from Mila's treasure box became eyes. A small carrot became a nose. A line of coal dust curved into a mouth that could be a smile or a thoughtful line, depending on the light. "Something's missing," Mila murmured. She ran upstairs and came back with a blue and white striped scarf, frayed at the ends. Carefully, she wrapped it around the snowman's neck, tugging the knot tight. "For hands," Grandma said, "we need something special." They found 2 skinny branches under the bushes and pressed them into his sides like sleeves. From her pocket, Mila took out a small pair of orange mittens, a little fuzzy, cuffs neatly mended. "You'll be cold without those," Grandma warned. "I have another pair," Mila said. "These are for him." She pulled the mittens onto the twigs so they stuck out, a little clumsy, as if he were in the middle of a wave. Then she bent by the young pine and picked up a dry brown pinecone, its scales open like a small wooden flower. She tucked it into one mitten, as though he were bringing a gift. "There," she whispered. "Now you are ready." "What will you call him?" Grandma asked. Mila looked at the pinecone, the mittens, the tilted pot. "Mr. Pinecone," she decided, "because he keeps a piece of the forest in his hand." She stepped close so only he could hear. "Mr. Pinecone," she murmured, resting her forehead briefly against his cold, smooth side. "Please watch over our winter, and over me, especially at night." Grandma brushed snow from her shoulders. "Come, little owl, even snowmen need quiet after such a busy day." They went back inside. Lights flicked on, curtains closed, and the courtyard fell into blue evening.
Later, night thickened over the town. Windows glowed, then went dark again, one by one. Somewhere, a dog barked once, then curled back into sleep. The crooked lamppost hummed softly, pouring a small puddle of golden light onto the snow. Mr. Pinecone stood exactly where they had left him. Snow settled on his hat and shoulders. The scarf fluttered when the wind slipped past. The pinecone rested in his mitten as though it had always belonged there. Hours passed. Then, very late, a single snowflake landed between the pinecone's scales and melted. The drop slid down, touched the mitten, then his round side, and disappeared into the cold. Mr. Pinecone felt something. It was not like suddenly waking. It was more like listening to a sound for a long time and finally recognizing a word inside it. He knew the weight of the metal pot on his head, the soft pressure of the scarf, his feet pressed into the snow. He noticed the lamppost, the young pine, the gate, and the sleeping street beyond. He could not move, but he could feel. And once you can feel, it is hard not to begin to wish. He looked at the pine cone in his mitten. Inside that small brown shape, he felt forest, wind, green darkness, branches talking quietly to one another. He wanted to know where that forest was. He wanted to know how winter looked there. The wind brushed his scarf and turned one frayed end toward the gate. The lamppost flickered once. In that quiet courtyard, Mr. Pinecone made his first decision. He would not stand in one place for all of winter. He would see more of it. Not tonight, but soon. The next day brought school and homework and soup. Mila ran down to the courtyard, brushed fresh snow from Mr. Pinecone's hat, re-tied his scarf, checked that both mittens were safe and the pinecone was still there. "You look serious," she told him, "like a real winter guard." She pressed her gloved hand briefly against his mitten, then ran back upstairs. Her footsteps faded. Windows went dark again. The lamppost began its quiet shift. The second night was colder and clear. The moon climbed high, turning the snow into slow, frozen light. The courtyard was empty. Even the lamppost's hum sounded sleepy. This, Mr. Pinecone felt, was the right kind of night. Very carefully, he asked his feet if they were truly frozen or only holding on out of habit. The snow at his base answered with a small, uncertain crunch. He leaned. Snow shifted, sighed, and did not let him fall. He slid one foot forward, not lifted, simply pressed through the snow, then the other. Slow, heavy, clumsy, but real. One step, then another. The lamppost awoke with a surprised flicker. "Well," it muttered, voice like old electricity. "That's unusual." "I'm going to see more of winter," Mr. Pinecone said softly. "I'll come back." "Mind the ice by the bins," the lamppost replied, "and the gate latch, it's stubborn." Step by careful step, Mr. Pinecone crossed the courtyard until the bars of the gate rose before him. He found the latch under a hump of snow, pushed it up with his mitten, and slipped out. The street met him with a thin breath of cold air. It was quieter than he had imagined. Snow lay thick along the sidewalks. Streetlights stretched down the road in a gentle curve, some new and white, some old and yellow. On a windowsill above, a dark cat sat like a guardian statue, tail tucked around her paws. "You're sparkling all over the pavement," she observed. "Someone might slip." "I'm sorry," Mr. Pinecone said, glancing at the faint trail he was leaving. "It's only a fact. We like facts on this street. Where are you going, Snowman?" to find where winters begin, or at least to see something beyond my courtyard." The cat blinked slowly. Courtyard snowmen usually stay where they're planted, but perhaps this winter is different. Keep to the pavement. When you see the park, turn right. The trees remember more than the cars do. "Thank you," Mr. Pinecone said. "I'll watch your girl," the cat added, almost lazily. Someone should. Warmth, impossible and soft, stirred in his cold chest. He nodded and continued along the street. He passed a dark bakery that still smelled faintly of bread, a bus stop with empty benches, a bicycle half buried in snow. Then he smelled something new beneath the frost. Trees, hidden earth, the quiet space of a park. The gate into the park stood half open. Mr. Pinecone slipped through.
Inside, the snow was less trampled. Paths curled between benches and a frozen pond that held the moon like a cracked silver coin. Swings creaked softly whenever the wind remembered them. Near one bench, a small bird hopped on the wooden backrest. Round as a snowball with wings, she tilted her head and peered at him with one bright eye. "Who are you?" she chirped. "I'm Mr. Pinecone, from the courtyard on Vale Street." "Far from your lamppost," she remarked. "Snowmen don't usually wander." "I'm looking for where winters begin, or maybe just for the place where my pinecone once grew." The bird considered this, feathers puffing up. "My name is Birch," she said. "The trees ahead know such things. I'll keep you company. It's easier to meet pines with someone who speaks their language." She fluttered to his shoulder, settling between his head and scarf. Together they walked deeper into the park, where the pines grew close and the air smelled of resin and quiet. The pinecone in his mitten seemed to wake, heavier, more present. "This is closer to its home," Birch said. Mr. Pinecone gazed up at the tall trunks. "Do they remember every cone?" he asked. "Trees remember in circles. Years, storms, summers, snows. Cones and birds and children are all part of that remembering." He stood and listened to the branches whispering in the dark. "I want to see all of it," he said softly. "The town, the trees, the snow, to know where my small piece fits." "There's a hill," Birch said. "Not very high, but high enough to see roofs and fields." "Then let's go," he said. "You are not built like a hare," she warned. "I am built like me," he answered and started to climb. The snow was deep. He had to lean his whole weight forward. Several times he felt he might stop halfway and simply become another drift. Each time he remembered Mila's forehead against his side and her whisper, "Watch over our winter and over me." So he kept going. At last they reached the top.
Below them, the town lay like a sleeping map. Roofs curved under their white blankets. Chimneys breathed thin smoke into the cold air. The main street shone like a dark ribbon with small pools of light. Beyond the last houses, the fields stretched wide and white. "It's a lot," Mr. Pinecone whispered.
"It's your winter," Birch said simply. "You, the girl, the courtyard, the trees, the streets, all under the same sky." He felt the pinecone in his mitten more clearly than ever, a small memory of forest held in his snowy hand, and understood that his little corner belonged to this larger shape. For a while, he just stood there, a snowman on a modest hill, looking at the world that carried his small story. The sky at the edge of the fields began to pale. "We should go back," Birch said quietly. "Morning is coming. Snowmen are better at arriving than explaining themselves." Mr. Pinecone took one more slow look at the town, at the invisible line of his street, the tiny square where his courtyard waited. "I promised to watch over our winter, and over her. I will keep that." Birch nodded, serious. "Down then," she said. "Down is always faster." Going down was indeed faster. Sometimes he slid, sometimes he stumbled, but together they made their way back through the pines, past the pond, past the benches half buried in snow. At the edge of the park, Birch fluttered to the back of a bench. "This is where I turn into a breakfast hunter," she said. "Thank you for letting me see the town from a snowman's height." "Thank you for walking with me," Mr. Pinecone replied. Birch tapped the pinecone with her beak as if greeting an old friend, then rose into the brightening sky and vanished among the branches. Mr. Pinecone walked on alone. The town was waking. Kettles hissed behind curtains. A bus sighed to a stop. A bakery door opened somewhere, breathing out warm air that smelled of bread and coffee. The heat brushed his face, but did not melt him yet. Not yet. He turned into his street. There was his roofline. There his crooked lamppost, paling in the first daylight. "You came back," the lamppost said, almost pleased. "I saw the hill and the town and the pines," Mr. Pinecone answered. "Now I know where I stand." "That's more than many," the lamppost replied. Mr. Pinecone pushed the gate and crossed the courtyard. The packed circle where he had first stood was still there, a little hollow in the snow. He stepped into it, the snow closed gently around his feet. His lower half settled. He straightened his pot hat, shook a few stray needles into place like a tiny crown, lifted his mitten so the pinecone rested against his chest, and turned his bead eyes toward Mila's window. The courtyard filled with morning. He became still again, but now his stillness held streets and pines and a hill inside it, like a folded map. Winter went on. There was school and homework, soup and mittens steaming dry. Children in the courtyard built their own small snowmen and forts, and shouted to Mr. Pinecone as if he were their officer in charge of snow. Mila often ran to him, cheeks pink, breath clouding the air. "You look like you've seen something, not just our yard." He said nothing, of course, but the wind moved his scarf in a way that could almost be a nod. Snow hardened, then slowly began to soften. Drops fell from roofs. The young pine's branches looked a little less heavy. One morning, a clear drop of water slid down Mr. Pinecone's side. It tickled more than hurt. "So," murmured the lamppost, "the turning begins." "Yes," Mr. Pinecone said, "but I'm not afraid." As his arm shrank with the thaw, the pinecone slipped gently from his mitten, rolled down his round front, and came to rest on the ground beside his small, uneven feet. He felt suddenly lighter, as if it had reached the place it needed. Days blurred, his shape softened, the scarf sank lower, the hat tilted more, he grew shorter and rounder until he looked like the memory of himself. One gray afternoon, Mila came down alone. Mr. Pinecone was small now, tired around the edges. His eyes were just above her knees. The pine needles had fallen from his hat and lay nearby, still green. Mila knelt beside him. "Thank you," she said, while his face still had a shape, "for watching our winter and for holding my mittens." Her gaze fell on the pine cone at his base, half sunk in wet snow. She picked it up gently and looked toward the young pine in the corner. "Do you think," she asked the air, "a new tree would like a friend?" The wind, no longer exactly winter and not quite spring, slipped past her cheek in what felt like a yes. Mila dug a small hole near the pine trunk with her gloved hands, placed the pine cone inside, covered it with damp earth, and patted it flat. "There," she said, "now part of you can stay." The little pine's branches stirred, though there was almost no wind.
Soon after, Mr. Pinecone was gone. One day, a lopsided snowman with a pot hat and a striped scarf still guarded the yard. The next day, there was only a wet circle on the ground, a faint ring of gravel, and a feeling as if someone who had been standing in the doorway had quietly stepped inside. Mila missed him, but she did not feel he had vanished completely. On her way to school, she would pause near the young pine and the small patch of earth beside it. In her mind, she saw a snowman standing on a hill above the town, wearing her scarf, mittens, and a crown of needles, looking out over roofs and fields, and then turning back toward one specific window in one small yard. "Next winter," she would whisper, "I'll build you again." The town moved into spring. The lamppost hummed over puddles instead of snowdrifts. The cat on the windowsill watched birds instead of snowmen. Birch and her kin busied themselves with nests. But somewhere inside the turning of the seasons, a small story remained about a snowman who walked softly through the night, saw how big winter really was, and still chose one small place and one child to watch over. Until the end of his story. There are so many faster, brighter things you could be watching. It means a lot that you chose this slow, quiet corner instead. If this tale kept you company, I'll be very happy to read your comment or see a small sign from you. That's how I know you're out there on the other side of the screen, listening, dreaming, and making your own stories. I hope we'll meet again in the next gentle winter tale.